Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 12 for the 2017 Haas IndyCar Series, and the third event here in Indy 250 week. We are here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway at the Indianapolis Road Course for the IndyCar Grand Prix. It is a 15-lap race around this 2.62 mile road course, and probably guess where it is. Speedway, Indiana, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and leading up to the big race on Saturday morning, the Indianapolis 250 will be going on the oval racetrack for that race for 100 laps. So right now, we're on the road course for 15 laps of action, and it's going to be a very frantic fight in the turn number one. You got to watch out for that first corner. It is going to determine who wins this race most likely, and it is going to be very entertaining. Anyways, it's race 12 of 13. It's the next to last race of the season. Of course, we still have Indianapolis 250 qualifying, which is also going to award a lot of points, and of course the Indianapolis 250, which is worth double points. But this race here is a pivotal spot in the championship for the Haas IndyCar Series this season, and here is how they run in the points coming into today's race. Jonathan Rain, still the points leader, 320 points towards the championship, but 7 points behind him, Matt Dalio, who has won 3 races already this season, not too far behind, with a chance at taking the points lead away from the number 17 heading into the final race of the season. Zachary Fitzwater in the number 18 is 54 points behind in third position. Harry and Alonso, 4th place, 60 points behind. Then Christian Master, Luke Rainey, and Davey Johnson all tied for 5th in the point standing, 62 points behind. Davey Johnson finished 2nd at the Kentucky Speedway back on Saturday. And he is in championship contention coming into Indy 250 week. Now, none of those guys, with the exception of Dalio and Rains, can leave today the points leader. Everybody else is too far behind to gain enough points to surpass Jonathan Rains in the points, but they could definitely close in very close, and even possibly at the end of the qualifying session that we will have on Wednesday for the Indy 250, we could see a totally different points leader heading into the final race of the season. It is possible, especially considering that Matt Dalio and Jonathan Rains start deep in the field for today's race here in the IndyCar Grand Prix, and this racetrack does not produce much passing. But anyways, let's go ahead and get these guys to roll off here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The starting lineup rolling on the bottom of your screen, and it's the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course here for the IndyCar Grand Prix. And in qualifying, the number 3 of Ryan Gondillo barely, and I mean just at the end of the session, beat out the guy who's going to be starting alongside him, Cameron Garlington, for the pole position. So Ryan Gondillo, a bonus point towards the championship for him, and he is going to be starting on the pole alongside the number 77 of Cameron Garlington for today's race. Row 2 sees Garrett Zinor and Luke Rainey. Luke Rainey comes into this race only 62 points behind. Of all the guys who cannot surpass Jonathan Rains in the point standings in this race, he might actually have the best chance at closing in on Rains in this race, because of all the guys in the top 5 in points, he is the highest starter. Now, Cameron Garlington is not too far behind as well. I believe he's either 7th or 8th in the point standings, but Luke Rainey also has a great chance at getting a good chance at the championship if he can get a good finish here today at the Indianapolis Road Course. Jordan Lopez. I've done that so much this season where I've completely messed up the names. It's unbelievable. And that is Jordan Lopez in the number 14, starting alongside Eli Bright. Both of those guys kind of deep in the point standings. Our last winner here in the Haas IndyCar Series, he won the Kentucky 80K. Aaron Walpole in the number 5, the defending winner of the Indianapolis 250. And he's going to have a good chance at possibly winning that big race on Saturday morning. But right now we got this road course race, and he's going to be starting up front with a good chance of getting a good finish here today, backing up his very good finish at the Kentucky Speedway. Right alongside him, it's Al Legacy, who won the first race in the duel at the Glen earlier this season. It was actually last Wednesday, so it really wasn't that long ago. And the guy who won the second duel at the Glen race was Cameron Gaju. He is going to be starting alongside the 15 of Jesse Turner. That's the top 10 starting positions here for the IndyCar Grand Prix. Now, this racetrack is not the exact racetrack that the real IndyCar Series goes to. That one is actually not made for Enter 2003 yet. So to compromise, we're going to be using the Formula One course that Formula One used back when they raced here in the early 2000s, and it's still at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it's still a road course, so it's going to work out for us just fine. 15 laps of action, there will be pit stops, but unlike prior years in this race, the guy who starts on the pole position will not be at a disadvantage because of that first pit stall. If you remember the first couple of races we had here, the guy who started on the pole position would always hit that wall exiting the pit lane. Not going to happen here today. We fixed that problem, and Ryan Gandillo with a great chance at winning today's race. The pace car has pulled off, and it's 15 laps to the finish here for the next to last race of the season, the last road course race of the season for these IndyCar drivers, and it's going to be a doozy. Ryan Gandillo, his first ever pole alongside the defending champion Cameron Garlington, coming to the line. We're green flag racing in the IndyCar Grand Prix here at the Indianapolis road course. And this is the pivotal moment of the race, heading down in the turn number 1. These guys side by side for the lead. Gandillo on the inside, Garlington on the outside. These guys might go off the racetrack a little bit here. Gandillo up the racetrack a little bit. Garlington drives by in the number 77. And Gandillo is not going to be able to stay alongside the 77, and Garlington is out of here in the number 77. Gandillo's going to file in for second. Luke Rainey's going to take third. And Garrett Zenore's going to file in for fourth, with Eli Bright in fifth, trying to get around the 83. These guys trying to fight for positions now, because this is the closest these guys are going to be all race long. You see Cameron Garlington, he has pulled out to a pretty big lead already in this number 77. Luke Rainey's right behind the number 3 of Ryan Gandillo right now. But Cameron Garlington getting the run on the outside. Luke Rainey trying to gain a position here on Ryan Gandillo. This number 67 might take second. It's a good battle here for the second position. Will Rainey get an inside advantage to this corner? Barely, but I believe Ryan Gandillo is going to get the outside lane to work. Eli Bright might gain a position here on Garrett Zenore. Zenore went off the racetrack a little bit there, and they're going to be side by side for the fourth position, and I believe Eli Bright's going to take it. But the number 77 of Cameron Garlington is going to lead the first lap of action here in the IndyCar Grand Prix. And you see these guys come off the final corner here. That's normally turn number 1 when we're driving the oval course, but this time it's the final corner. I don't know how many corners are on this racetrack. I never know how many corners these road courses have, but I do know that's the final corner. Might want to watch for these guys going side by side. They tend to go off the race course entering turn number 2. Quite a bit. That is what hurt the number 3 of Ryan Gandillo as he started on the pole for this race. And look at this, number 7, Eli Bright just took third away from Luke Rainey. Eli Bright moving his way through the field very well. He was the fastest guy in the first Indianapolis 250 practice back on Saturday. He's adjusting to this venue very well in that number 7 machine. See these guys go off the racetrack a little bit here as they go down the back straightaway. Number 33 of Matt Dalio, who comes into this race only 7 points behind Jonathan Rains. Right now, it looks like Master might take a position away from the 33 here. But if Dalio remains in the position he is currently in, which I do believe is 18th, and Jonathan Rains is 21st right now, it's only a 3-point gap, and Rains would still remain the points leader heading into the Indianapolis 250 qualifying session. Now, exiting that qualifying session, the points may be very different, because a lot of points on the line if you start on the pole for that race. Of course, a lot of points on the line if you start up front in that race. It's 42 for the pole, 40 for second, 38 for third, and I kind of get the idea of how that's all going to work out for the Indianapolis 250 qualifying session on Wednesday. It's going to be one, I believe, 20-minute session for the whole field, and a 10-minute dash for the top 9 guys in the first session. So it's going to be an interesting day on Wednesday, and we'll show you guys the points at the end of that video as well, and that'll definitely help determine the champion here in the Haas IndyCar Series for 2017. Of course, when we get to the race on Saturday morning, I've said this countless times, we're really going to be focusing on the race and not necessarily the championship. And that's because the race is just so big. A lot of these guys who aren't in championship contention, all they are thinking about is winning the race at the end of the week. And it's going to be the finale race of the season, and it's going to be very intense. Cameron Garlington still out front, but Ryan Gondillo trying to pressure him here for the lead. He closed in there as they entered the infield of this road course. But once we get spread out like this, it gets very difficult for these guys to make any significant passes. And you're going to want to watch for these pit stops when they come up. If one guy has a slow stop, it could mean the guy behind him gets the advantage. And those pit stops are definitely going to determine who wins today's race here at the Indianapolis road course in the IndyCar Grand Prix. Number 77, Cameron Garlington, the defending champion of the series, trying to win his third career race here in the Haas IndyCar Series. The only other driver to do so is Matt Dalio, and all three of his wins in this series have come this season. But the number 77 of Cameron Garlington, if he can in fact get this win here today, he would be up there in the point standings, a lot closer to the Jonathan Reigns and Matt Dalio, with a great chance at taking the championship for a second season in a row. And Ryan Gondillo, he did in fact close in on Cameron Garlington that last lap. Eli Bright is also here as well in the number 7. Luke Rainey's down to the 4th position, while Garrett Sonora runs in the 5th position. You got Jordan Lopez, Aaron Walpole, and it's Al Lagasse, the number 28 of Noah Cars, and the number 15 of Jesse Turner, the top 10. These guys are bunched up quite a bit back in here, and they are making some passes here every once in a while, so it's not like passing is completely impossible. But you see this number 33 of Matt Dalio, he has fallen back in this car, and right now running in the 19th position. No, he is actually 20th, excuse me. The guy he's trying to chase in the point standings is right behind him, Jonathan Reigns. But this is not a good situation for either of these guys. They want it to be just those two guys battling for the championship. They don't want anybody else involved. But if they finish this low, some other guys are going to get involved in this championship fight. And some of those other guys might very well be Cameron Garlington and Luke Rainey, who are right now in the top 5 with a great chance of closing in very fast on our points leaders. We might have had an incident between Davey Johnson and Hergel Arvin Alonso, and Cameron Garlington just majorly went off the racetrack, entering turn number 2. Ryan Gondillo closing in very fast. Gondillo trying to hang with this number 77. He started on the pole for this race, and he does not want this 77 to drive away with this thing. Lap 5 of 15 right now. Garlington majorly went off the racetrack that time, and Gondillo tried to close in, but he was not able to close in by too much, so Garlington's going to remain out front for now. But Davey Johnson involved in a crash with Hergel Arvin Alonso, and that is not a good thing at all for those guys. We'll review that crash at the end of the race. But that's a tough one for those guys. Ryan Gondillo struggling in the number 3, and Eli Bright trying to take second. Not able to do so, but Gondillo did not get through that corner well at all. And Bright almost got around him in the number 7, but Bright's off the racetrack a little bit, and Luke Rainey might strike for 3rd. Oh yeah, this number 67, he's going to get into the number 7 of Eli Bright. And they almost crash, but they get back on the racetrack. Here comes Garrett Sonora with a full head of steam in the 83, trying to get around the 67 of Luke Rainey. That could have been a major accident between the 7 and the 67, but fortunately for those guys, they kept it together, and they're still in the same positions they were when that incident happened. How about that? Great driving by those guys there. Now Garlington not going off the racetrack through turn 2 like he did the last time, so it's a good thing there for the number 77. Garrett Sonora trying to get to the outside of Luke Rainey, and he's not able to do so. But these three guys are under a blanket right now, with Eli Bright running 3rd, Luke Rainey running 4th, and Garrett Sonora running in the 5th position. It is getting very intense here. One of the more intense races I've seen at this racetrack. Of course, for the lead, it's been all Cameron Garlington so far, and Gondillo is slipping up a little bit in the number 3. Rookie driver trying to go for his first career win on NapaFan. It does not look like it might happen today, but he still has a chance. He's still running 2nd, and if Garlington makes a very big mistake, that number 3 could possibly take the win here today at the Indianapolis road course. But how about Luke Rainey and Eli Bright saving a crash from happening there on lap 5 of the race? Got to hand it to those guys for avoiding a major incident. Heading on to the main part of the racetrack right here. Of course, Eli Bright, he's going to remain in the 3rd position right now, with Luke Rainey 4th and Garrett Sonora still going to be 5th. It's Jordan Lopez, Aaron Walpole still the top 7. Got Al Agassi running 8th. Jesse Turner has moved his way up to 9th. And the number 28 of Noah Cars is right now in the 10th position. Audra Baranowskis running 11th. Matt Tuck running 12th. Zachary Fitzwater, Cameron Gaju, and that's one of the Target Ganassi guys. I believe that is Nicholas Samadio in the number 10. Yes, it is, with Christian Master Stuart Gratton. Stuart Gratton won this race in 2015. You see those guys go through turn 2 there. A very tough corner for these IndyCar drivers, but Cameron Garland trying to keep this number 3 behind him. But Gondillo is doing a fantastic job, even though he lost the lead at the start of the race. He's still doing a fantastic job running in the 2nd position, not too far behind our leader, Cameron Garlington, here in the IndyCar Grand Prix. Got a lot of action going on back here. Looks like Matt Dalio has passed John Arndt, so he's now got a position in between him and Jonathan Rains. And if they finish like that, it's going to be a 5-point gap heading into Indy 250 qualifications between Jonathan Rains and Matt Dalio. Now, Matt Dalio, he led in the point standings for a majority of the season up until the 2nd race at Watkins Glen when Jonathan Rains surpassed him. Matt Dalio was not able to get around him in the point standings at Kentucky. And if they finish the way they are currently running, Matt Dalio is going to still be behind Jonathan Rains, but by only 5 points. And if Matt Dalio were to win, of course, if he were to win the Indianapolis 250, he, of course, would win the championship on Jonathan Rains if they stayed within 5 points of each other. But still, if it's only going to be 5 points, it's going to be a very tight championship between these two drivers. And let's not count on other guys who might be in contention as well, including defending champion Cameron Garlington, who is trying to hold off this number 3. He's doing a good job of it. And if Cameron Garlington can get a good finish, he is going to be close to Jonathan Rains and Matt Dalio heading into Indy 250 qualifications. And if Garlington could, in fact, start on the pole for that race and say Dalio and Rains, they start really deep in the field, Cameron Garlington could be the points leader exiting Indy 250 qualifications. But the pole day is going to be a big thing on Wednesday. You definitely want to check that out because a lot of points are on the line for that event, and that's going to determine who wins this championship. It really is. Of course, the Indy 250, a double points race. If you win it, you get 100 points towards the championship. Who knows? The guy who wins that thing could win the championship, and we haven't even really talked about him all season long. That's how big that race is going to be on Saturday morning. I'm sorry if I keep talking about it, but I'm going to be sitting in front of my computer for almost 2 hours recording that thing. You guys better like it, okay? I'm going to put a lot of work into that thing. It's going to be a good race, though, around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and I cannot wait to record it. It is going to be a doozy. Number 3, Ryan Gondillo, still running in the 2nd position. At this point, it's most likely going to come down to pit stops, and I believe they have begun. Luke Rainey coming down the pit lane, and I believe Eli Bright also came down as well. I think that's Eli Bright that we cannot see on our screen because of the scoring pylon. But you see Luke Rainey, Eli Bright, they were running 3rd and 4th when they came down the pit lane. I don't know if Eli Bright has an issue or not, but Luke Rainey's going to get off the racetrack, get off the pit lane just fine. He's going to be at a bit of an advantage here. He's going to have those fresher tires a little bit longer than everybody else, and he might be able to score some faster lap times, but something is in fact wrong with Eli Bright, who was running in the 3rd position. He is not getting off the pit lane. It's a tough break for the number 7. But Luke Rainey, he's got his pit stop out of the way, and now he's got these fresher tires. He's going to be going a little bit faster than everybody else here. We'll see if he gains an advantage on our leaders. Here's a little bit of a mess right here. Cameron Gaju, Matt Tuck, Zachary Fitzwater. How about Christian Master? I mean, I think he moved up quite a few positions. He is 11th right now. Christian Master is 11th on the racetrack after starting, I do believe, 20th in today's race. I think. No, I think he started 19th. Yeah, 19th. He started 19th. He has gained 8 positions in that number 25. And Christian Master is one of those guys in contention to win the championship as well. He's going to come down the pit lane double wide with the number 10, and I believe the leaders have also come down as well. Here's Cameron Garlington in the number 77. Ryan Gondillo is going to be right behind him. And as you can see, they're not as close to that pit road wall as they used to be. And that should definitely be an advantage for Cameron Garlington. A very fast pit stop on the number 77. He gets off just fine. Now the big question is, where's Luke Rainey going to file in here? He is pretty deep, and I believe this 77 is going to pull away with this thing. Any contact on the pit lane? Looks like some guys are stopping at the end, but most of these guys not having too many issues. Ryan Gondil is going to be second off the pit lane. Here's Luke Rainey in the number 67. It looks like Garrett Zenor is going to have a battle with him for the third position. And Rainey is going to let Garrett Zenor overshoot the racetrack, and he's going to drive right by. So Luke Rainey will, in fact, gain a position. But that's only because Eli Bright had an issue and is most likely out of the race right now. But those pit stops really giving it to Cameron Garlington. A super fast stop on that team, and they are ready to win this thing in that number 77. Right there at the start. And that's what I said earlier on. That first corner is going to determine who wins this race. And when Ryan Gondillo went off the racetrack there and Cameron Garlington whizzed by on the outside, I knew that this number 77 was going to have like a 95% chance of winning this thing. And only unless he makes a very big mistake in these next 6 laps, Cameron Garlington is going to win the IndyCar Grand Prix. And he is going to close in on Jonathan Rains for the points lead. Now, he is, I think, about maybe 90 points behind. Rough estimate, 90 points behind Jonathan Rains coming into today's race. But if he gets this win, he gets 40 points. See where Jonathan Rains is. See quite a few guys having issues. That is, I believe, Cameron Gaju in the number 22, who is not even in his right pit stall. With Cameron Gaju, Stuart Gratton, Trey Bartow, Christian Master with issues on the pit lane there. And that's one thing we still haven't fixed yet for these guys. They kind of stop there at the end of the pit lane because it's so small, and they just get crunched up together, and that's the unfortunate result. A tough break for all those guys, especially Christian Master. He had moved his way up 8 positions on the racetrack, and now it doesn't look like he's going to finish the race. Unfortunate one for the driver of the number 25. Anyways, these guys have really split off. You see Cameron Garlington has a 5-second lead on Ryan Gondillo. 10 seconds back, it's Luke Rainey. Then it's Garrett Zenor, Aaron Walpole, Jordan Lopez. That's Noah Cars, Audra Baranowska, Zachary Fitzwater. And Fitzwater comes into this race only 54 points behind. A 9th place finish won't award him too many points, but he will gain on Jonathan Rains and still be in championship contention as well. And let's not count out Luke Rainey as well. If he finishes in the 3rd position, that awards 35 points towards the championship. Jonathan Rains is currently 11th right now. So, our points leader not doing too bad in that number 17. Matt Dallio is behind the 17 now. And that means that Jonathan Rains will pull away a little bit from Matt Dallio in the point standings if he can, in fact, finish in the 11th position. 11th position will award 19 points towards the championship, while Matt Dallio, who is 15th right now, is going to be awarded 15 points. So it's only going to be an 11-point gap if they finish the way they are currently running heading into Indy 250 qualifications. But it's still going to be a tight one, especially considering that Cameron Garlington is winning this thing. He would gain on Jonathan Rains 31 points towards the championship, and that's quite a bit right there. You see Ryan Gondillo still running in the 2nd position. Luke Rainey only 62 points behind. He would gain 16 points on Jonathan Rains, which would put him... Not wrong way. 62 minus 16. That would put him 46 points behind Jonathan Rains. He would not be able to take the points lead at the end of qualifications. But if he can, in fact, get a good qualifying day, he might very well have a chance of winning the championship if he can get a good finish in the Indy 250. It's all going to come down to the Indy 250. I keep on saying qualifications, qualifications, qualifications. Yes, that's going to play a major part into the championship. But the big thing that's going to play a part into the championship is the Indianapolis 250 itself. 100 points towards the winner in that race, and it is going to definitely be a major factor into who wins the championship, because it's the final race of the season, double points race. We got 8 extra guys on the racetrack as well. Those Indy 250 guys are going to be racing in that Indianapolis 250. You guys are finally going to be on the racetrack. Of course, most of those guys are Indy Lights drivers, but still, they're finally going to get a chance to shine here in the IndyCar Series. I mean, last year we had an Indy 250 only driver win in Aaron Walpole. So those Indy 250 only drivers, they're going to have a good chance at victory lane on Saturday morning. It's going to be grand, I can tell you that. And it looks like Ryan Gondillo is just a little too far behind to catch up to this number 77. And those pit stops, that's really what gave Cameron Garlington this win. Of course, that first corner, but before the pit stops began, they were it was about a 1.5 second gap between Garlington and Gondillo. Now it's 6.5 seconds. So that pit stop definitely benefiting that number 77. These guys, you see them coming off the racetrack. I'm wondering if they were penalized. That is a good possibility here for these guys. They were penalized coming off the pit lane. You see the pit lane there, how it kind of like kinks out there. They have difficulty getting off of the pit lane there, but fortunately our leader did not have any issues, so it wasn't a guarantee you're not going to win this race if you start on the pole position like it was last year. But still, Cameron Garlington, he started second for this one. It could have been a lot different if Ryan Gondillo did not get that very good lap in qualifying. We could be seeing Garrett Sinor possibly winning this race if that were the case, because Sinor then would have started on the outside pole, and that outside pole definitely seemed to be a good starting position for this race. And Garlington, he's adding about a second a lap on Ryan Gondillo right now. Gondillo is struggling, but still, you got to be happy with the performance he has had. And keeping that car clean and bringing it home to what should be a second-place finish here today in the IndyCar Grand Prix. I do not believe he's going to really have a chance at the championship, but still, 40 points towards the championship, plus the bonus point for winning the pole. Definitely a good day for Ryan Gondillo, but he might have felt as if one got away from him on that first corner there when Garlington drove by. And it does appear that defending champion Cameron Garlington is going to get his third career win here in the Haas IndyCar Series. Garlington's last win on Napa Fan was that special race I still haven't come up with a name for yet, back in April. And a month later, he's going to take the white flag in the IndyCar Grand Prix with an almost 8-second lead on Ryan Gondillo. This is what happens in this race sometimes. These guys, they pull away like crazy. And you see the number 77, and you see the 3 behind him. This thing is all but over here in the IndyCar Grand Prix. Gondillo did close in a little bit there on that lap, but this number 77 is most likely going to grab the victory. And a great drive for Cameron Garlington here today. Got the second fastest time in qualifying yesterday, but that proved to be just enough for the number 77 to take the lead on the first lap. And Cameron Garlington has led every single lap in today's race. It's how this event usually is from year to year, but you know what? That's just fine. It's really fun through that first corner. I gotta tell you that. Always very fun through that first corner. And Cameron Garlington, the defending champion, trying to defend his championship. He's going to have a chance, especially if he can get a really good qualifying effort for the Indy 250, get a lot of points there, and get a good run, or even possibly win the Indy 250. If that were to happen, Garlington might, in fact, win the championship. He's going to get his first win of the season here in the 2017 Haas IndyCar Series with this win here today. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be pretty excited about it heading into the big event. But the number 77, Cameron Garlington, the defending champion of the Haas IndyCar Series, going to round the final corner and win the IndyCar Grand Prix here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. Cameron Garlington gets it done here at Indy. Ryan Gondillo will finish in the second position. Luke Rainey will finish third. Garrett Sinor and Aaron Walpole going to back up his win at Kentucky with a 5th place finish. Jordan Lopez, I believe Noah Cars, will finish 7th. Audra Baranowska, Zachary Fitzwater, and quite a ways behind will be John Arndt, rounding out the top 10. And points leader Jonathan Rains will finish 11th. Not too shabby for the number 17 heading into the final race of the season. But anyways, there is your winner. Cameron Garlington in the number 77 gets it done in the IndyCar Grand Prix. And there are the official standings right there. I did say we will review the crash that happened between Davey Johnson and Herja Larp and Alonso, and also the crash that happened between Matt Tuck and Eli Bright. So let's go ahead and see what happened to those guys here at Indianapolis. This is the first lap of the race. Davey Johnson got off and off the racetrack a little bit. Alonso had a run on him, and he thought he could clear the number 34. He did not, and into the wall he went upside down for Jarlov and Alonso in the number 27. You see, Jonathan Rains was behind this in the number 17, right behind it when it happened. And Davey Johnson and Jarlov and Alonso both involved in this massive crash on lap 1 of the race here in the IndyCar Grand Prix, knocking them both out early on. This is what happened to Matt Tuck in the number 98. He miscorrected coming down the pit lane and hit the pit road wall, and that knocked him out in the number 98. Something also happened to Eli Bright in the number 7. We'll review what happened to him. And this is what happened to Eli Bright. He made the decision to come down the pit lane way too late, try to get on the lane, and same thing to Matt Tuck, only worse. Head on into that box there at the end of the pit lane. That's a tough break for Eli Bright. He was going to get a really good finish here today at the Indianapolis road course, and unfortunately crashing out midway through the race in the number 7. But there is your winner, Cameron Garlington, in the number 77, gets it done in the IndyCar Grand Prix, and that's 50 points towards the championship for the defending champion of the series. And it's going to be a very interesting championship battle heading in the Indy 250 qualifications, which is going to be on Wednesday. And then the big race, the Indianapolis 250, Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Of course, tomorrow we got practice, and the Indy 250 only drivers are going to be racing along with these guys in that practice session, a 30-minute practice session tomorrow. Qualifications to, the next day after that. On Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, the IndyCar drivers, actually Thursday, is the Freedom 50 qualifying and the USF 2000 oval race. We had the USF 2000 road course race earlier today. And Friday is the Freedom 50 and Carb Day for these guys, the final practice for the IndyCar drivers in the Indianapolis 250. And then, of course, if you don't know it by now, you probably haven't been listening to me. Indianapolis 250, Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. 100 laps around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And it's going to be a great event there for the finale race of the 2017 Haas IndyCar Series. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Here are the point standings for the 2017 Haas IndyCar Series. And congratulations to Cameron Garlington for getting the victory here at the Indianapolis road course in the IndyCar Grand Prix. Thank you guys very much for watching once again, and I will see you guys later.